Okay, so I was due to make the beans curry last night, but I was a bit tired and I was watching Netflix, Catch Me If You Can. Kind of enjoyed that one. So this here is an onion. I'm actually out of onions. I need to go shopping. But do you see how tiny this onion is? And for this amount of beans, with this amount of potato, this is not enough. So it needs to be a large onion. If possible, if you have this size onion, then make it 2 or 3 onions. And the trick behind using onions in your cooking is that, or the reason why you use it, is that it gives the curry a bit of a sweetness. So it's not all spicy and hot and or whatever. It gives it a nice sweet taste. And never again am I going to use that Kashmiri masala. Everyone's talking about it because they like very hot food, but we like our mild and tasty food. So I'm minusing that Kashmiri masala out of my cooking completely. And whoever wants that masala, I'll probably give it as a gift to them. But I think I'm going to be happy with my old curry powder, mild or medium, from Osman's Taj. Okay, so now I'm just starting the prep to cook my beans curry. What you can do is, like what I've done here is it's 2 cups of beans. I've eaten some once it was cooked. I like eating plain boiled beans with a bit of salt. So what I've done here, it's basically these sugar beans. Let's see up here. Okay, I've stocked up on a bit of beans. So it's sugar beans, okay, that I've boiled up. This here is red beans or rajma beans. That's black-eyed beans, and that's obviously dal. So I've bought a bit, and if I had the time, I would boil more than 2 cups. And then what I would do is I'd separate them in portions and freeze them. And so whenever you need to cook a beans curry, you can just remove it from the freezer, a portion, and cook it accordingly. So this has been lying in the fridge for a couple of days now. I never had the chance to cook with all the work that's been going on. But also, when you're using bicarbonate of soda, always remember that for this 2 cups, I've used half a teaspoon, or just about a teaspoon, I think, of bicarbonate of soda. If you use too much, what happens is it disintegrates the grain and then the taste gets altered. So it's not that tasty. So always remember not to add too much of bicarbonate of soda. Half a teaspoon to a level teaspoon is good enough for 2 cups. And that is the amount that you should use. Okay, so now I'm just gonna chop up my onion and get the pan hot, and I'm just making some rice as well. And yeah, so I really don't want to spend money in the week. So today I'll watch the church service from home, and I will do some cooking so that it will last me a couple of days in the week and I don't have to buy food. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so my onions are chopped. It's not enough, but anyway, it will have to do. And then I'm going to use the key again. Just going to kind of use that much. It's about a curry spoon. Drop it in there to melt. And I currently have it on 3. The reason for this is this pot here, any stainless steel pot, like even the one I made the green beans in, they tend to get hot very quickly and they burn the food. So you have to cook at medium to low heat in order to get the satisfied results. Otherwise the food will just burn and it will be tasteless and it's not going to be good. And cooking food on very high heat is actually not the way to do it, unless there's plenty of liquid in the pot itself and you need to dry up the liquid. Then only you'll hike up the heat. But otherwise you need to just be cooking at low to medium heat, because food, we put that in our bodies and we need to cook it with good energy and love, and we need to make sure that that we don't haste when we are cooking it, and that we savor the cooking just as we will savor the eating. Okay, so now this oil is getting hot. Okay, and then spices and preparation. I've just got again 3 cardamom pods, 2 bay leaves, some clove, about 4, star anise, small piece of cinnamon, cumin seeds, and this is garam masala, and this is Nanima's handwriting in her garam masala, and of course my old favorite, which is gives me good curry without burning us, and that's about it. Oh, and then the ginger and garlic. So now this oil, the ghee is hot, so I'm just going to transfer the onion into the pan. Just put the extractor fan on. A bit. At this stage, you could add the curry leaves. I don't have curry leaves at the moment, but you could add curry leaves to this and let it all kind of cook together. The flavor would be awesome if there was curry leaves. Okay, and then I'm just going to throw in the whole spices. That's the ilachi, cardamom, the bay leaves, star anise, cinnamon, and cloves. Go, and I'm just going to stir it all in. And let it go golden brown. Okay, I'm not going to cover it this time. I'm just going to let it cook. So here it is now cooking. I've raised up the heat a little bit to number 4. Reason being is that with ghee, onions take longer to brown. In normal cooking oil, sunflower oil, it cooks very quickly, and in coconut oil, but I've been forbidden to have coconut oil or any coconut products, so hence I'm using sunflower oil or ghee, and in this instance today I'm using ghee. Yesterday for the green beans I used sunflower oil. So yeah, so I've increased the heat slightly so that the onions can brown, get to golden brown, because the ghee does tend to slow the browning process a little bit. And then here in preparation I've grated ginger. I had a piece of ginger that I needed to use. I didn't want to use the one from the bottle yesterday. And then of course the garlic, I'm going to use a teaspoon. So the ginger is also about a teaspoon of ginger. And I've got some leftover onion. It should be more. This is to sprinkle on top when I add the salt and the cumin. And then the beans is ready and waiting. And the tomatoes, I have them from yesterday. I've just taken it out from the fridge so that they're at room temperature. Okay, so now you can see that it's starting to get golden brown. Just gonna stir it a little bit. And now it is ready for the ginger garlic masalas. So, okay, so in goes the ginger, like so. In goes the garlic, like so. And then I'm going to take, so for this amount of potatoes and this amount of beans, just 2 cups, okay, I'm going to put in 1 heaped, 2 heaped, 3 heaped, and 4 heaped teaspoons of curry powder. Okay, and I'm going to mix it. Okay, and then I'm going to lower the heat now again to 3. And then to this, I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Okay, then I'm going to stir. It smells delicious already. Just going to stir that, and then I'm going to add the potatoes. So potatoes, add them in. So with beans curry, because the beans is already cooked, you would add what needs to be cooked first. So the potatoes are gone in. Okay, just stirring it, coating it well. Oh, yeah, this is the fun part, eh? Okay. Okay, the temperature's decreased. And you see what I mean by my curry is kind of always brownish, yellowish. It's not red, but I guess in order to make it red, I think what I can do is I can add paprika to the food to retain the mildness, but give it a good color. So the potatoes are now coated, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water, about a 1/4 cup, so the spices don't burn. Just like that. Not too much. Shake the pot. Okay. And then I'm going to throw in the leftover onion, this much. It should be more. It should be a little bit more. Well, not a little bit. Considerably more, about a handful. Just kind of put it on the top like that. Sprinkle it on the top. Okay, and then I'm going to add salt. So the beans has already been boiled with salt. So this is just for the potatoes and the gravy that I'm going to add in. And by gravy I mean water. Okay, and then again I'm going to do the same with cumin. Go. It's about a teaspoon. Just going to sprinkle that around there. And then I'm going to cover the pot and let it cook. What else am I missing? No, everything is there. Great, so pot cover. There you go. Okay, pot cover on, and it's going to cook for about 5-10 minutes. I'll just check whether it is burning at the bottom, because these pots, as I say, tend to get hot very quickly, and they burn, so we have to be watchful all the time. And then once the potatoes are cooked, remember these tomatoes I ground up yesterday, so I put them in the fridge, and all of this is going to go into the pot with the potatoes. So catch you later. Okay, so I've stirred the potatoes. They're not catching at the bottom that much. The temperature is still at 3. Now I'm going to add water just so that it covers the potatoes. So the potatoes can cook and soften up. Okay, like that. So it's a little more than I would have added in the green beans. So there you go. Just get all the masala of the potatoes and into the pan like that. Okay, and then now this is good to cook for another, say, 15 minutes or so with the water. Right, close the pot. So the potatoes are now cooking. I've raised the heat up to 4, just so that it can bubble up like that and cook. So it's doing its thing. I'm going to leave it alone. And the other important thing that I missed when I gave you the dal recipe is that this is very key. It's called asafoetida or hing. We call it hing, H-I-N-G, hing. And this is very good to kill the, or not kill, but help with the alleviation of the gassiness that lentils and legumes actually cause. So when cooking dal, I normally add a teaspoon of this mixed with cold water, and I add it into the boiled dal. Now I've already boiled the beans and I haven't added that in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a teaspoon in water, and I'm going to add it to the curry itself when I add the beans in. And then that will help so that you don't get stomach cramps and all of that when you're eating beans. You can even add this to vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, anything that tends to give you uncomfortable digestion. So yeah. So here's 1 teaspoon of this hing or asafoetida powder. I'll add that with some cold water rather than hot water, and then I will add it when I add the beans into the curry. Okay, so this is the hing now mixed with water, just a little bit of water, maybe 3-4 tablespoons, just about enough to dissolve the hing. Okay, let's see what these potatoes are now doing. Okay, they're cooking vigorously, which is good. Stir them a little bit. And at this stage it might look like it's a lot of masala, that it's going to be super hot or whatever, but it's actually not, considering that we're still going to add the tomatoes and we're still going to add the beans, and it will be just about right. Okay, so we'll just leave it there to do its thing. Doesn't look like it's soft yet, but I'll test with a knife in a few minutes. Okay, so I've poked them with the knife, and that one seems to have broken up a little bit, and the knife seems to be going through it quite nicely, so I think it's now time to add the tomatoes. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to add, this is about 3 tomatoes. Okay, so I'm just going to drop it in like that. Okay, now I like scraping everything off the jar. I can't do that now, but I'll do that in a little bit. And then I'm just going to stir the tomatoes in. So this gives it the thick gravy. And whenever you add tomatoes to any dish, you must add about a teaspoon of sugar. So that also enhances it cuts through the acidity of the tomatoes. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar. Okay, so I'm just going to add a teaspoon of sugar like this. Just sprinkle it all around. Okay, and let that cook. Okay, so I'm just going to shake up the pot. Okay, looks delicious already. So I'm going to cover and let cook. The thing with tomatoes is that you must always add it once the potatoes are almost cooked or cooked, because if you add the tomatoes whilst the potatoes are still hard, then the potatoes remain hard. Something about the chemical quality of the tomato when it's cooking, it just never gives the potato a chance to cook through nice and soft. So that's why we add the tomatoes once the potatoes are almost cooked or just about cooked or cooked. Okay, so we leave that for another few minutes once the tomatoes have dissolved, and the gravy's kind of reduced a little bit. And then we will add, because you see there's a bit of water in there. So once that's reduced a little bit and the tomatoes have cooked, give it about 10 minutes or so. And then I will add the beans. And then that will be it. And then we just leave it to simmer. And add coriander once it stops simmering. But I don't have coriander, so it's not going to be pretty. But yeah. Okay, so taking a look inside the pot, we can see that the liquid has kind of dried up. And if I need to stir this a little bit just to check what's happening at the bottom of the pot, it's slightly sticking, which is not a bad thing. Okay, which means that the spices, the tomatoes, everything is being roasted well. Okay, so now I'm going to now add the beans. Okay, so beans. They're kind of cooked extra soft. They're very soft and quick cooking beans. So, okay, as you can see, when the oil starts to show with the pot, it means that the food is nicely roasted, cooked well. Okay. Stir it around like this, sorry. Stir it around. Add the beans. Add all the beans. So, add them. Okay, so just looks like a pile of mess, eh? But in time. Okay, so that's all the beans in now. Okay, all the beans are in here. Okay, so I'm going to just stir everything and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've stirred the beans in and it's now mingling with all the spices. I'm going to add some hot water to this and leave it to simmer for about 10 minutes so that the spices and the beans all kind of come together nicely. And it's not a lot of water, it's about a quarter to half a cup, and it's just all going to cook nicely. And when you're stirring, you must be careful that you don't stir too roughly, which would break the potatoes. So I've just added that water to give it a little bit of you can see it's kind of starting to look a bit of a gravy-ish texture. Okay. I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. Oh, and of course, I'm going to add the hing. Okay, that's the hing inside. More water, maybe a little bit more. So that's, say, about 3/4 of a cup of water once you've added the beans. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it a shake. Okay, now you can see that it's not that red and spicy. And once the beans cooks, then with the spices, then you'll be able to see that the spice amount was actually correct, and it was not too much and was not too little. Okay, right, so I'm going to just let that simmer. There you go. It's looking quite decent, I would think. Right, and then after a few minutes we'll see what it looks like. And while the beans is cooking, I'm watching the church service, Blessing TV live. All the dancing is finished. Now when we go to church, we dance. So the dancing is now over. Now it's time for worship. Okay, so I've taken off the lid. It's been 5 minutes. You can see it's cooking. it's mixing and enjoying itself in the pot with all the spices. There you go. See? It's no longer a big mush like you saw when the beans were boiled, no? So it's individually separated and it looks nice. So I'm just going to turn it off now. Turn off the stove, and that's it, and then we are done. We are done with making beans curry. So stove is now off. Zero. There you go. Now if I had coriander, this would look so pretty. So closing that, and I'm gonna leave it, and lunch is ready. Enjoy. I hope you like these videos, and as I cook anything else, I will video them and I'll put them on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, so I'll put them on there, and that's where you can refer to them. And whenever you need to cook anything, then you know, the recipes will be there. So during the week I'm planning to make some lamb curry and some chicken curry, and I'm going to make something with brinjals. So I know you don't like brinjals, but I'll show you a nice way of making it, and you'll enjoy it, definitely. Well, enjoy your day, my darling. I love you. Mwah.